I'm back in my happy spot after a bit of a rush around in the car. I needed some peace. And this place is just exquisite. It is just silent. And there's just this deep sense of calm. And I can just hear the birds and the wind blowing away and the sun is shining and beaming, and what better place to finish the day. So I thought I would tell you about frequency healing and Healy. My little Healy, it's down my bra as always. This is Healy. This tiny little things, 2 inches by 2 inches little box. Now, if you've never heard of this, you might be thinking, what the heck? This is literally magic in a box. It really is magic in a box. I've been using this now for almost 4 years. And the reason I bought it was because I was doing a lot of work with the chakras, doing a lot of courses, teaching a lot of things about the chakras. And somebody had told me, in fact, 3 people, you know, we get messages from the universe, we get messages from people, and things keep popping up. And 3 people had actually told me about this. And when I realized that it had an aura scan, the ability to scan the aura, I was just like, oh my God, I've got to have this thing. And that's the reason I bought it. And in all honesty, a lot of you out there, if you are listening, you would have had one of those aura readings from me. I literally just focused on that for months because I wanted to see how it worked. And I wanted to see the results. I wanted to see how people resonated with it. And I literally did hundreds of scans on the aura because I just love that energy system, because it just tells us a story. It tells us about where our energy is blocked, what might be blocking it, whether it's a physical, a spiritual, a karmic issue that might be happening. So just to explain a little bit about how this little magical thing works. It works in 2 different ways, actually. One way we work with the auric field, and as I was saying on my video yesterday, that is so important to work with our energy field, because this is the information field around us. It's huge, and it's taking in all the information about who you are, what's going on. Other people's energy fields will affect your energy fields. You know that. When you go into a room and you suddenly feel the energy is really dense, you know that when you've had a big argument and the energy just feels like, really like you can cut it with a sharp knife. It's just really uncomfortable. So our energy field is just the information field. It is actually, it's really our consciousness talking to us, which is what Healy does. You think of it as a little consciousness tool. It's actually giving you the answers to things that you probably don't even know what the questions are. So it works in that auric field, which is where I use it every single day. And it will work with the microcurrents. Now, I haven't got them on. I've taken them off earlier on, actually. They are we put the straps on the cables and they connect into the physical body. So they're actually working and re-energizing, if you like, or re-stimulating, reactivating the mitochondria in the cell. So we've got 2 different ways of working with it. We have 2 different apps. And the phone is like the remote control to use it. So in the phone and on the app, we put everyone's profile in. So we've got your energy in there. We record and vibrate the energy of who you are. And that is what it will take the messaging from. So it's not just randomly tuning into anything. We have a focus. We have an intention. So just to explain a little bit more about the, we call it the pink app, because this is the app that works with the physical. And what is unique to the Healy, and this is one of the things that is just quite remarkable, is that it doesn't just send one set frequency for a specific issue. So say, for example, we had 3 people lined up and they all had their own Healys and they all had a headache. We would not necessarily just put on a program for headaches, because the causes might be very, very different. One might be dehydrated, one might be very stressed, one might have, muscular tension up the back of the head and da-da-da-da-da. So they're never going to need the same frequency. And this is what's very unique to Healy. And this is where I've seen so often people saying, oh, frequency healing doesn't work for me. Well, you possibly haven't had the right frequencies. Because so often with a lot of the machines, they work with a set frequency, which is great, but we're all unique and we're all individual. So when you put the program on for anything that's in the physical body, and that could be, we've got over I don't even know how many programs I've got on mine, over 200 programs. It will change, the frequency will change every 10 seconds because it's just checking in to see where your frequency is. And as soon as your body and your physicality is has reached that frequency, it will shift to another frequency until it's done, until it's like brought you back into balance. So the whole point of working with frequency healing is actually just to bring you back into balance. You know, as I was saying yesterday on my video, you're either in balance or out of balance. It doesn't matter what you want to call the imbalance, issue, disease, illness, sickness, stress. It's an imbalance. And we're always looking to come back into this place of feeling grounded, safe, centered. You know, that feeling when you just feel in that bliss. It is a blissful state to be in. That is when you know you're truly in balance. And if you're sick, stressed, or in pain, or you've got scars on the body, or you've got injuries, that is that there will be inflammation, there'll be an imbalance in your body somewhere. So this is just one of the tools that I use, and I'm going to be talking about the other things in the next few days. So Healy I've been using for nearly 4 years. I trained as a kinesiologist back in 1991. And, you know, I was blown away because I'd had an injury, a neck injury actually, which was very severe. I'd had 3 whiplash injuries, 2 in one accident, 1 3 months later, and I had severe pain for a very, very long time. And a kinesiologist basically fixed it in 2 sessions. And so that's why I trained as a kinesiologist back in 91. And I was fascinated because it was very much, we used the meridian system, the 5 elements, and we would check a muscle on each of the meridians to find out where the imbalances were. And then we would look for, is it a structural problem, nutritional, emotional, electrical, or even a spiritual problem? And then find out what the solution was, what was needed to actually correct those imbalances. Now, what we can do with Healy is that in minutes, what used to take me quite a long time with a kinesiology session. You know, we would check even if we needed, I used to have loads of vials where we would check what was needed on a nutritional level for the body, or whether it was sensitivities to chemicals of, God only knows, I had so many, I've probably got them somewhere still stashed away. But Healy reads your consciousness and it reads the energy of the body. So can you see why it's so important for us to be aware of our energy field and what is going on in that energy field before it comes into the physical? So if you want to know more, I should really tell you about the scan actually. Just hang around a little bit longer. We've talked about that one. Let me just talk to you about the aura scan, because the aura scan is really what I use. And when I bought Healy, I must admit that this still is the best investment I have made in myself, but also in my business. Because I don't see clients face to face anymore. Everything I do is remote. It's either remote or it's on Zoom. And it works beautifully. And Healy has literally paid me 100 times over, again and again and again. It's just been the best investment. It is the best little tool, this little thing. And I know Marcus Schmieker, who is the creator of this, who's a quantum physicist, a lovely, lovely guy. He said that he calls it a doctor in the pocket. And his intention is for every family to have one in a household. But I think if you have one in the household, you're all going to need one, because you'd be fighting over it, because it's just such a magical thing. So when I use the aura, I use the chakra system a lot, but we have so many other programs. And the first thing I will always do with a client is I will look at which the flower essences, where are the emotions? We got to look at the emotions first, because the emotions dictate what's going on in the physical, etc., etc. So let's bring you back into a place of neutrality if we can, as much as possible, and then we'll find out what else is really going on in your auric field. And very often it will come up with things, and you think, that's got nothing to do with me. You know, I've had this a few times recently. I'm not feeling sick, or I'm not da-da-da-da-da. But what it's doing is it's already reading your energy before it's come into your physicality, into your consciousness, it's just incredible. It knows. And I remember one client, when I first bought this, who I did an aura reading on, when we'd finished, she said to me, how on earth do you know so much about me when you don't know me at all? I said, it's not me, it's Healy. So if you want to know more, or if you want to have one yourself, I would highly recommend everybody invests in this, because believe you me, you will never regret it if you use it. I know a lot of people say it doesn't work because it's stuck in a drawer. It's never going to work stuck in a drawer. And a lot of people don't actually know how to use it properly. I have a group every Friday morning, actually, and we discuss and we talk, and we are incredibly creative with this little thing. What we can find out is just unbelievable. We have the homeopathy on it. We have the remedies from homeopathy. So instead of taking the tablets, we're taking the energetic form. We have the gene keys, which is the I Ching. A lot of you will know about the gene keys. It's showing up your shadow side. So all those sides that we don't like about ourselves, when we can find out what those unconscious beliefs are, which are probably very deeply inset, we can then shift and change them and find out what the gift is when we get through that. So it has coaching program, which is phenomenal. It has, as I say, reading your chakras, which is my favorite energy system, because it just tells us a story of where we are and what we need to shift. Now, I think that's probably long enough. Tomorrow or the next day, I'll see when I come back on, we'll be talking about the other tools I use. And LifeWave Patches is another one, which is working with light energy, okay? AO Scan is working with the energy of your voice, so sound therapy. And so all of these are frequency healing tools that create magic. And that's all I can say. So I'm Fiona Clark, the Zenergizer. I'd love to hear your questions or your thoughts. If you do use Healy, how well are you using it? Do you know it well? Are you creative with it? What is your favorite program? Tell me. If you want to know more and how to work with this and even get an aura scan, then message me, PM me, or put a message down in the comments, and I will get back to you. All right? Enjoy your day, but what I say to you now is please go and find your place of peace and just be for a while. Bye for now.